ਕੀਤੇ ਜੋ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡਿਗਰੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਰੋਲ ਆਫ ਦਸਮ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਇਨ ਖਾਲਸਾ। ਇਹ 2001 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਰਚਾ ਛਪਿਆ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 2 ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਲਿਖੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕਮਲ ਰੂਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੁਣਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਲ ਕੇ। ਇਸ ਲੇਖਕ ਨੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਦਸਮ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਐਂਡ ਆਨਸਰਸ ਤੇ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਆਫ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਪਬਲਿਸ਼ਡ ਬਾਈ ਆਕਸਫੋਰਡ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ, ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੀ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਹੈ ਆਕਸਫੋਰਡ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਵਾਲੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਛਾਪਿਆ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵੀਰ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਨ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਰ ਨੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਮਿਊਜ਼ੀਅਮ ਇਨੀਸ਼ੀਏਟਿਵ ਦੇ। ਸਿੱਖ ਮਿਊਜ਼ੀਅਮ ਇਨੀਸ਼ੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਆਈਆਂ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਲੁਕ ਰੱਖਦੀਆਂ ਵਸਤੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਖੋਜ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਘੋਖ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਲਿਖਤਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਵੈਸੇ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪਿੱਛੇ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਲੈਪਟਾਪ ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਰ ਲਾ ਕੇ। ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਨਾ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਜੋ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਆਪ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਬਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਅੱਧੇ ਘੰਟੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਨ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 15 ਮਿੰਟ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ। ਅੱਧਾ ਘੰਟਾ 15 ਮਿੰਟ ਲੱਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਧੀਆਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦਰਸ ਕਰਨ ਆਪਣਾ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਗਲਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕਮਲ ਰੂਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੇ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੁਣੀ ਉਹ ਸੰਬੋਧਨ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਾਸ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਬੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਯੂਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਆਓ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਮਾਨ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਡਿਗਰੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਦਸਮ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਖੋਜ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਬੀੜਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਬੀੜਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਹੱਥ ਲਿਖਤਾਂ, ਉਹਦਾ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਕੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਬੀੜਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਭ ਲਈਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ, ਉਹਦਾ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਖੋਜ ਮੇਰਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਸਮ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੋੜ ਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਹੈਡ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉੱਚ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਜਾਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ। ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਲੇ ਭਾਈ ਕਮਲ ਰੂਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕਿਤਾਬ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਦ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਆਫ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਐਸੇਸ ਲੈਕਚਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ, ਇੱਕ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹਟਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਬੁੱਕ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆਕਸਫੋਰਡ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਨੇ ਛਪੀ ਆ। ਇਹ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਬੜਾ ਕੋਈ ਪਬਲਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਹਾਊਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਰਲਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲਸ ਦੇਣੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੈਨਾ ਕੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਸਮ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵੀ ਆ ਜਾਊਗੀ। ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ। So in every religion, the sanctity which is accorded to relics and artifacts is an important aspect, giving a religion something tangible to believe in. This reverence of artifacts can be seen in the same light as having the sight and of the leader of the faith. For example, Jesus Christ had the cup called the Holy Grail. The searchers for millennia see many conspiracy theories as to what is the Holy Cup. This included the role of the Knights Templars in terms of actually searching for this actual type of cup as well. The searchers see many publications and many books. The sanctity according to Sikh relics can also be seen in the same light. The Sikh faith, which is the youngest of all religions, is now facing some of the intellectual inquiries never seen before. In various parts of India, the Sikh gurus and stadium gave their religious instructions. There's a litany of artifacts related to them. This includes the Guru Granth Sahib, Sri Dasam Granth Sahib. We also have handwritten instructions called the Hukamname or the letters of command. And this is an important aspect which gives us historical insights of our Dharma. Just like the Holy Grail, there's also been one artifact which many Sikhs and the Khalsa have been searching for many millennia. And this is referred to as the Guru's Kalgi or plume. This plume is said to have been worn by Guru Gobind Singh. But however, there's been a lot of speculation as well as to whether there's been one Kalgi, more than one Kalgi. Where is it? The problem may not ever be solved, but the saga of the Kalgi will also be as contentious as the Holy Grail itself. And if we now turn to the Shastras, In many Gurdwaras, we see the Shastras placed within the close proximity of Guru Granth Sahib. We also see the Shastras placed in front of Dasam Granth Sahib as well. At the Takhts, we see the darshan of weapons. Sri Akal Takht Sahib, Takht Keshgar Sahib, Patna Sahib, Huzur Sahib, every Takht from the beginning have had the Shastras placed in front of them. This is not just symbolic, it actually means something. It means something for the Sikh, it means something for the Khalsa, it means something in terms of Rajaniti. These ideas all come back from one Granth, and that is from Sri Dasam Granth Sahib. The Dasam Granth is about Shastras, Yudh Mein Bani, how we can win wars, how we have won wars. This is what the Sri Dasam Granth Sahib is about. In the Redname, the old traditions and the old ideas, which are directly or indirectly related to the sayings of Guru Gobind Singh, we are noticing the aspects of the Khalsa noted within them. I will just mention a few of these in terms of battle and warfare. There's one old Rednama referred to as the Nishit Nama, traditionally known as the Tankha Nama, dated 1718, 1719. We see the instructions related to the art of war within it. If we consider the Chopa Singh Rednama at 1700 period, we see instructions again related to warfare. But this time we see the worship of weapons, Shastra Puja. A later 18th century Rednama, referred to as the Dasam Singh Rednama, refers again to the carrying of Shastras. The Daya Singh Rednama refers to the Shastra Puja again. One very rare Rednama is referred to as the Prem Samarak Granth. In it there's a lot of instructions related again to Rajniti, instructions to a king, warfare. But one interesting aspect of the Prem Samarak Granth is about the different Shastras which are invoked inside it. And one particular one is related to the commanders, the different commanders that used to be within the Khalsa battlefields would be promoted by given different Shastras. One important one is known as the Gul Shastra, the rows of Shastras. The commanders within the battlefield would carry them. It was almost like a battle standard. So if we see the rosary of weapons there, it would be created into a battle standard to be carried in warfare. Again, if you go to Takht Huzur Sahib, we see the Shastras displayed. We see the Shastras at Nagina Ghat at Huzur Sahib as well. And we also see this in the inner sanctum, the Angita Sahib within Huzur Sahib. This also leads us to a Rednama, again if you turn to Baidea Singh, where he proclaims, I myself, or sort of, he paraphrases Guru Gobind Singh and says, I myself, Sri Mukhwak, communicate the Jopi and Surveyor for focusing the mind of my followers and nerving them for battle. We see Sakhis, examples of Kapoor Chaudhary, Hamir Singh, Gurbilas Pash within Gurbilas Dasmi, Guru Ki Sakhiyan, all give examples of carrying Shastras and what Shastras means in terms of the Khalsa. This all leads to Shastra Vidya, the science of weapons, the martial art of weapons, which is only practiced now by a handful of people around the world. Yet at the time of the Guru, it was about Shastras, it was about understanding warfare, it was all about combat. So we understand and need to analyze and look at what does Shastra Vidya mean. Shastra Vidya means Shastra Puja, the worship of weapons. Shastra Prakash. We also see the Pentre. So if we see a Shastra Vidya practitioner, Gatka practitioner, they do like a dance, do a salute to the weapons. But none of these are complete. None of these are complete without the recitation of Dasam Bani. Shastra Namala, Chandi Divar, Bhagoti Astotar, And in the translation, and in this book, we have the translation of Bhagavatiya Stotra, which we've termed apocryphal. Within this Bani, Guru Gobind Singh is saying, forever hail, forever hail, forever hail the sword. Sada Jai, Sada Jai, Sada Jai Bhagoti. Bhagoti, the sword. We also need to consider Shastra Namala, Quran, or the holy rosary of the ancient weapons, which comes from Sri Dasam. One of the questions which many people do pose is, why did Guru Gobind Singh compose Bani on the Shastras? Which is an illogical question. Because if you look at the Khanda, what was the role of the Khanda in the Amrit Sanjag? Recitations of Japji, Jap Sahib, Anand Swaye, Jopi Sahib. The Amrit could not be consecrated without the use of the Khanda. The Bhagoti of the Guru could turn the weak into warriors. This was a special message which many of us have now forgotten over the millennia. There is no point becoming a Khalsa if you can't wield a sword, or if you could not give your head. The same message is important now as it was then. If we turn back to the Shastra Namala, we see how the Bani has been constructed around the different weapons from the old mythological sources. The Bani again would be recited by Shastra Vidya practitioners before going to warfare. As a result, the Khalsa would employ the Bani of Shastra Namala on their weapons, on their Shastras. One important Shastra from the 19th century belonged to Shyam Singh Atariwala. Atariwala Sahib fought and became Shaheed in the Battle of Sobrama, the Anglo-Sikh Wars, on the 10th of February 1846. The heroic general was applauded by the British and the Sikhs. His personal sword contains the inscriptions from Shastra Namala. This we can see even now. The sword is actually kept within the family of Colonel Sardar Harinder Singh Atari. Another sword, unable to show you today because we don't have the projector, is bearing inscriptions again from Shastra Namala, kept in a private collection here in the USA. Whilst this is important, whilst the Shastras are important as well, we also see how Dasam Bani was transmitted. And we see this in other relics in terms of copper plates. In Indian history, or we look at the way Indian portray the way they communicated, we call it a tamar patra, copper plate. It's been used throughout India, throughout the millennium. But unfortunately, we didn't realize that the Sikh used to use the copper plates as well. And it's highly significant because recently we have seen the tamar patra of Guru Hargobind Sahib, and we know of two by Guru Tegh Bahadur as well. But our concern is one related to Guru, or several related to Guru Gobind Singh. We have seen one recorded and found at Naina Devi, and it's recorded in Sudmar Granth. We've also seen one based at Guru Kshetra, but unfortunately that has been lost. The third one, and the most significant, is the one kept at Gapal Mochan. And this is really, really important because on this Tamar Patra, on this plate, we have the Ardas recorded on it, as transmitted by Guru Gobind Singh. The plate bears the date 1679, and the rendering is as follows. One God, with the grace of the Guru, the Khalsa belongs to the immortal one. Guru Gobind Singh bestowed the Hukamnama on Jawala Das Brahman on Tuesday, October 14, 1679. My Sikh who follows this Hukamnama will be blessed. Continuing from there is the opening lines of the Ardas which appear in Jandi Divar. Later on, another Hukamnama was given at the same place. So what do we have here? We have local history narrating that Guru Gobind Singh, after the battles at Dasam, which are recorded in the Prachita Natak, came down to Kapil Mochan and records that he stayed there. But the plate itself is so significant, we have forgotten about our own Ityas. We have forgotten how our Sikhs used to transmit information from place to place. So if you look at the sword again, if you look at the names employed by Guru Sahib, the most important has been Bhagoti, invocation, Manglacharan, used at the start of most of the compositions of Dasam Granth Sahib. It means the divine sword protects, represents the power of Kalpurk to crush the evildoers. The sword is a symbol of justice, truth, and all-prevailing power. Bhagoti is also referenced within Bhai Gurdas's Vara. So it's no surprise we see a reference to Bhagoti on the swords of Guru Gobind Singh. One particular Siri Sahib has a representation of hunting scenes on the sword. The sword has a gold hilt and is inscribed with the words Bhagoti Sahai Guru Gobind Singh. Samvat on it is 1762 Bikrami. This sword is now available, is kept in Patiala. We also see another sword, this time Bhagoti Sahai Guru Gobind Singh Pashai Das. Tradition notes that this sword was given by Baba Taloka, now kept at Napa. So we have to see and we need to consider, why do we have these swords? What is the importance of these swords? Another sword bears the inscription Pashai Das. It's not more clearer than in the Sri Dasam Granth where the signature name appears. Another sword has the inscription Ekamkar Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Pashai Das. So these inscriptions that we see on the swords were first narrated in Sri Dasam Granth Sahib and then put on the swords. We also have the seal Deg Deg Fateh. When we look at the history and we look at Banda Bahadur, everyone equates Deg Deg Fateh with Banda Bahadur and his heroic victories. However, the concept, the idea, comes from Sri Dasam Granth Sahib. We see the term employed in Krishna Avatar, Kirta Pakyan and Zafarnama. So it is actually incorrect to actually say it started with Banda Bahadur. It actually started from the time of the Guru. Deg Deg Fateh. We also see this employed again on swords. Ekamkar Satguru Prasad, Deg Deg Fateh, Nusrat Bidrang, Zafat Az Nanak Guru Gobind Singh. Later on, this seal would be employed on swords as well. On coins. If you look at the Khalsa Fauja, if you look at the Nahang Singhs, if you look at the Khalsa from the 18th century, 19th century, we see the big Damale, we see the Chakkar. Again, we have the Chakkar of Baba Deep Singh, which has the Bani of Japsa, Akal Ustad, Ram Avatar inscribed on the Chakkar. Much of the Gurbani is now worn off, but it's part of our Ityas. We also have, available even now, the armour, what we say, peti, bodily armour worn by Guru Gobind Singh, also known as Kavach. All Indian armies had some kind of protection from the other army. In this particular case, we have this peti, which is kept with Captain Amarinder Singh in Patiala. There's 4 plates on the front, on the side, on the back, on the side. Again, 4 plates. The inscriptions are both from Guru Granth Sahib and Sri Dasam Granth Sahib. The first plate bears verses from Japji Sahib, the Mool Mantar. Second part, Jap Sahib from Dasam Granth Sahib. The third one, Rakhya Shabad, Sri Mastak Rakhya, which appears on the plate. The fourth plate is from Sri Akal Ustad, again from Dasam Bani. So this is very highly significant of having Bani from both Granths. It's about Meri Peri. That's why we have the Nityanam, Bani from both Granths within Nindram. Just with regards to this Jarena, we need to know a little bit of history about this Jarena, or this Peti as we call it. It's actually mentioned in the Prachita Natak by Guru Gobind Singh himself. Battle takes place on the 18th of September 1688. The battle with Harichand. Guru Sahib narrates how he's attacked by arrows. Guru Sahib says that enraged Harichand took his bow and aiming at my horse, he shot his first arrow. The second arrow he shot whilst aiming at me. Akalpok, God save me, as the arrow skimmed past my ear. The third shot he shot at my belt, which pierced through. Akalpok saved the life of the Guru. But Guru Sahib says, when the edge of the arrow touched my body, it kindled my war spirit. Jabe baan lagyo, tabe ros jagyo. This famous verse is related to this incident and is related to the Peti. Unfortunately, this armour is fading, the Goft Gari is completed, is coming off it, the Garbani has been worn off as well. So this year, as part of my initiative in the UK, the Sikh Museum Initiative, we have created a 3D version of one of the plates related to Sri Akal Ustad. The Bani on his Ekam Ka Satguru Prasad Uttar Khas Daskat Ki Pasha Das. And we have the Bani, which we have recreated in 3D. Unfortunately, we are unable to show it today, but it will be available on the website www.sikhmuseum.org.uk. So, in a way, almost concluding, but also actually looking forward, we have so much ityas, we have so many relics, we have so many artifacts related to our Guru Sahiban. Unfortunately, people don't take the time to look for this information. People don't take the time to actually do a Khoj. But one thing we do know is after Dasam Bani was created, written, it was transmitted. It was put on swords, it was put on Taman Patre, it was put on Chakkar. Because Guru Sahib knew for his Khalsa Fauj, the Khalsa warriors, the Yudh Bani would protect not only the Guru, but the Khalsa Faujan as well. Otherwise, how did we get through the 18th century? How did we live through Jaldi Kala? The inscriptions, like I've mentioned, can only come from Dasam Granth Sahib. We have mobile phones in our pockets. We all know how to use them. Otherwise, why do you keep them in your pockets? At the same time, we should do sadkar of our weapons. We should understand what they're about. If you wear the Qurban, if you're Amadari, you should understand as to why we have it as well. And concluding, and just to say, if we have so much ityas, if we have the manuscripts, if we have the history, why is there any Shanka on Sri Dasam Granth Sahib? There needs to be no Shanka on Sri Dasam Granth Sahib. We have the manuscripts, we have the history, we have the relics, we have everything. Anyone who ever says we do not have anything related to Guru Gobind Singh in relation to Sri Dasam Granth Sahib is a total lie. We have everything, we have all the Toshkan now, we have everything. And that is what we need to understand. Why Guru Ji Ka Khalsa, why Guru Ji Ki Fateh.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है वीर गुरिंदर सिंह मान यूके तो आए ने इन्होंने इस गल का खंडन किया है कि जड़ा ये कहा जाता है कि श्री दसम ग्रंथ साहब किसी ब्राह्मण ने गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहब जी की होंद तो 150 साल बाद ये सिखां दे विच इहनूं प्रचलित किया। ये कितनी भुलेखा पाउण वाली गल है कि जे बाबा दीप सिंह जी के चक्कर उत्ते जाप साहब लिखिया होया होवे ते बाकी शस्त्रां दे उत्ते ते कवच दे उत्ते अकाल उस्तत लिखी हुई होवे तो गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहब जी दे सचखंड गमन तो 150 साल कोई ब्राह्मण उदों दे के गया तो पहलों कित्थों आ गई भला। सो ये वाली गल जी भाई वीर गुरिंदर सिंह मान ने अपने सामने समक्ष रखी है, ये बड़ी समझने वाली गल है। जितने भी आप इत्थे विचार साझे कर रहे हैं, मैं समझदा कि बड़ा सीधा ते स्पष्ट जिहा एक उत्तर है उन्होंने जिहड़े सिख पंथ दे नाल एक बड़ी वड्डी डूंघी साजिश रच रहे हैं कि सानू साडी वाड़ साडे पंथ दा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर देने वाला जिहड़ा ग्रंथ है श्री दसम ग्रंथ साहिब उस तो सानू दूर कर रहे हैं। आपां नूं उस तो सुचेत होने की लोड़ है ते संगतां नूं इहदे बाबत एजुकेट करने की लोड़ है। आओ हुण आपां 10 मिनट की ब्रेक लईए, 2:45 20 मिनट रहिंदे ने 3 वजन दे विच ते आपां 3 वजन 5 मिनट ते प्लीज़ वापस आ जाइए। किसी ने बाथरूम जाना, लत्तां खुदियां करनियां, चाह का कप पीना है आप जी जरूर, तो प्लीज़ 15 मिनट के अंदर अंदर आप जी दीवान हॉल के वापस आने की कृपा हिचल करनी। अपने पास डॉक्टर कमल रूप सिंह ते भाई गुरप्रीत सिंह ते भाई बलवीर सिंह होना ने संगत को संबोधन करना है। बड़े बड़मुल्ले विचार ने मेरे वीर भाई कमल रूप सिंह होना दे, किस तरीके के नाल षड्यंत्र रचिया जा रहा है, ये कहा जा रहा है कि धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी तो सानू दूर करना है इन्होंने। सो इस तो गल टोटली विपरीत है। सो आओ आप इन्हों के विचार सुनने ने 15 मिनट के आप जी कृपा करके वापस दीवान हॉल के हाजिरी करनी। आप जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है जस अदारे का जिन्होंने इस समागम को जो लाइव ट्रांसमिट कर रहे हैं। समूची संगत का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है जो दूरों ही चल करके आए हैं, तो नाल ही कोटान को शुक्र है सतगुरु गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज जी का जिन्होंने इस सारे समागमों की जो छत्र छाया है वो इन्होंने बख्शिश की है। आओ फतेह प्रवान करो। वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह।